When you were 10, one summer felt longer than the entire calendar. Now, you can blink in January, and somehow December shows up uninvited. The clock did not speed up. Your brain changed how it builds time. And this matters more than you might think. It does not just change how you remember birthdays, vacations, or entire years. It can make your whole life feel like it is slipping away while you repeat the exact same routines. You work, eat, stare at a screen, sleep, and repeat. Then one day, you wonder where the entire month went. To understand why, you need to separate two experiences that usually get mixed together. Your brain has one version of time that you experience right now, and another that it rebuilds later from memory. Imagine sitting through a painfully boring meeting. You check the clock every 30 seconds, hoping it will finally end. Every minute feels enormous because your attention is watching time crawl. Your brain tracks signals, compares intervals, and constantly waits for the next visible change. That is why 5 minutes of waiting can feel like 15, even though the clock never lies. Emotion matters too. Fear can stretch a few seconds until they feel almost endless. Then the opposite happens when you are talking, gaming, or completely focused on something. You stop watching the seconds, and 2 hours vanish like they were stolen. This is called perspective time. You are judging time while it is still happening. The more attention you give the clock, the more space each moment seems to occupy. That is why standing in a silent line feels longer than waiting in the exact same line while talking to someone. But when you remember yesterday, your eyes are no longer following a second hand. So your brain switches strategies. It searches for changes, events, and clues stored in memory. A boring afternoon can feel endless while you live it, then tiny when you remember it. A vacation can fly by while you are there, then feel surprisingly long months later. That strange contrast explains why enjoying something can speed it up now, but expand it afterward. A fast present can become a huge past filled with separate scenes. A slow present can become one gray blur with nothing to divide it. There is no single psychological clock. Your brain uses different systems, and they can completely disagree. It sounded like an impossible contradiction, but here is what nobody expected. Memory does not store duration like a camera stamping a date onto every frame. When you look back, your brain estimates time by rebuilding how often your mental context changed. A new place, an unexpected conversation, or one important decision creates a boundary between events. Think of those boundaries like dividers inside a gigantic folder containing your life. The more dividers your brain can recover, the longer that period may feel in hindsight. And your brain does not only count visible scenes. It also notices when your thoughts, emotions, or goals changed. Routine does the opposite. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday can contain almost identical signals. Same desk, same commute, same screens, even the same conversations, repeated for countless hours. Your brain keeps what matters, but it merges repeated episodes to avoid saving useless copies. It does not erase your days. It simply removes many of the differences that would help you separate them later. So when you ask where the year went, you find very few markers dividing it. An entire year of repetitive work can be mentally compressed into a handful of interchangeable scenes. That is one reason childhood often feels enormous. Almost everything was new, weird, and worth noticing. You learned names, rules, places, and skills that you now use without thinking. Every first experience created a boundary. Many adult experiences arrive already sorted into familiar categories. Novelty does not add hours to the calendar, but it adds structure to memory. Familiarity saves mental effort, yet it also makes everyday chapters look more alike. One unusual week can occupy more space in your personal story than several completely routine months. It seemed like age explained everything. But here is what nobody expected. One study included 499 people between 14 and 94 years old. Overall, older participants did report that time seemed to pass faster, but age explained, at most, only 10% of the differences between people. The results supported the popular feeling, but showed it was far from universal. Two people of the same age can experience time at completely different speeds. A popular explanation says 1 year becomes a smaller percentage of your life as you age. For a 10-year-old, 1 year is roughly 1/10 of everything they have lived. For a 40-year-old, it is only about 1/40th. It sounds elegant, almost too elegant, but it does not prove your brain is mathematically dividing your biography. It is a convincing metaphor, not a stopwatch scientists discovered inside your neurons. Nobody has found a tiny brain calculator comparing every birthday with all your previous years. Pressure, boredom, emotion, and attention also change how quickly time seems to move. In another study, researchers sent 8 phone alerts per day for 5 days to younger and older adults. That created 40 everyday measurements for each person while they continued living normally. The older adults did not feel that the present was moving faster than the younger adults. What mattered more was their emotional state and how absorbed they were in their current activity. A bored person could feel time slowing down no matter what age appeared on their ID. Maybe the years do not accelerate while we are living them. Maybe they accelerate when we try to summarize them later. Growing older seemed to mean losing control of time. But here is what nobody expected. You can change the clues your memory will use, even though you can never stop the clock. And no, you do not need to jump out of airplanes or visit a new country every week. You need to create events that feel distinguishable, learn something, take a different route, talk to someone new. Even cooking a different recipe can separate 2 weeks that would normally blend together. Changing the usual order of your routine can create a boundary without requiring an expensive adventure. It also helps to mark beginnings and endings through projects, small celebrations, or written records. A photograph does not manufacture extra time, but it can recover details you would otherwise lose. Writing only 3 lines each night can leave enough clues to rebuild weeks that might have felt completely empty. The goal is not to pack every minute until your life becomes another exhausting competition. Too much activity can make the present fly while leaving you completely drained. What you want is balance. Less automatic repetition and more conscious attention toward experiences that actually matter. This is not about collecting random new things like trophies. It is about noticing when a chapter of your life genuinely changes. You cannot turn 60 minutes into 70, but you can give those minutes more memorable boundaries. It sounded like a simple memory trick, but here is what nobody expected. In another experiment, participants listened to a 25-minute radio story inside a brain scanner. Later, they compared parts of the story that were separated by exactly 2 minutes. Even though the objective gap was identical, their estimates varied dramatically. The more certain brain patterns changed, the longer participants believed that same interval had lasted. Their brains were not checking an internal clock. They were reconstructing time by measuring transformations in context. 2 identical minutes could feel completely different because the memories contained different amounts of change. Time does not necessarily accelerate because you are getting older. Your memory compresses experiences that look too similar. Creating distinguishable moments will not make your life longer, but it may stop entire years from disappearing into a blur. Which year of your life felt the longest? And what made it different? Tell me in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to uncover more secrets hiding inside your mind.